My name is Lucia Ferrara, and I am Director of Hospitality here at the Precious Blood Renewal Center in Liberty, Missouri. So I'm so glad that you guys are here today with me, and we are making today my version of a stir fry, what I call a vegetable frizzle honey and garlic sauce stir fry. So this is my version, and I'm sure all of you guys have your own little versions, and that's what's so unique about it. It's because the ingredients that I'm using here today, you don't have to use them in your recipe, but I've really used them over the years, and I kind of like the whole combination, but you can adjust it. So we're going to start out with, I'm going to tell you all the different ingredients that I'm going to be using. But I do want to mention, as we're entering the season of Lent, as you know, next week is Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day. And so as we enter that, I wanted to kind of try to make something, like I know we're going to have meatless Fridays, and I thought, well, this is a pretty good alternative to no meat. And even though we eat a lot of fish on Fridays, you know, the big fish fries and things, you know, there are some people that really don't like the fish either, and so they're like, well, what am I going to make? So, you know, I thought, well, this would be appropriate to make. So anyway, so I've done this a lot too on meatless Fridays during the Lent for my family, and they seem to enjoy it. So let me start first with the first thing we're going to talk about is the ingredients. So for the sauce, we're going to need a half a cup of honey. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And I use the less sodium because everything tends to be real salty. So, but anyway, I use the less sodium. So I use 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I use 2 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar and 2 tablespoons of butter. So I've got butter here. And then I also use about 6, maybe 5 to 6 cloves of minced garlic. So I kind of minced this here. I only had about 4 cloves, so I minced what I had, but there's that. And then these are my add-ins. So I use pure ground ginger. I love this stuff because you can use it in other recipes, but I use about 1/4 of a teaspoon of the ground ginger in my sauce. And then I never really liked red chili paste because I'm not big on real, you know, hot spicy food. But this stuff is really good, and it's roasted red chili paste, and it's, I mean, I love it. So I've been using that. And then this is my own add-in. You don't have to use the coconut oil, but I put in maybe half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of coconut oil. And coconut oil, if you ever cooked with it, it does have a little bit of a coconut taste to it, but it's not overwhelming. So it also depends on the brand and what kind and things like that. So I have a pretty generic brand here, so the coconut isn't going to come through too much, in case you're not a coconut person. I love coconut, but some people don't, so you can eliminate that. And then, let's see, what else we have. Have your cornstarch on hand, because sometimes when we're making this sauce, you want it to thicken up a little bit. So the longer it sits out, the longer it will thicken. But when you're cooking it, it just doesn't seem like it's getting thick fast enough. So I usually put in about a teaspoon of cornstarch, maybe half to a teaspoon of cornstarch, just to help it kind of thicken up. okay? And then for our stir fry our vegetables, while I'm stir frying my vegetables, I made 2 cups of rice. That's uncooked rice. So when it's cooked, it comes out to be about 3 to 4 cups. So we're going to use that on the bottom, kind of our base of our dish. And then we're going to put the sauteed vegetables in there. And then we're going to layer it with our sauce on top. So, and by the way, this serves about 4 people right here, okay? 3 to 4 people, depending on your servings. So I'm going to set this rice over here for now so I can tell you about the vegetables. So I cut up about a head or 2 of broccoli. You can also buy the pre-packaged broccoli that's already been cut up and cleaned for you. But anyway, so it's about 3 to 4 cups of broccoli, fresh broccoli. Then I love red peppers. You can use really any kind of red pepper, or any pepper you want. If you want to use yellow, if you want to use orange, green, or whatever. I like the red. I like the red because I want to give it color. So I washed, and then I sliced a huge red pepper. And it depends, if you get a real small red pepper, then I would use 2. If you get a big one like I did, I just used the 1. Then I have some sugar snap peas. So here's probably about 2 cups of sugar snap peas, and they're fresh. And I washed those, and they're ready to go. Now, since this is a meatless Friday during Lent type of meal, in order for some protein, I went ahead and got some garbanzo beans, or AKA chickpeas. And I love this because you can add this into this dish, and it gives you the protein that you need. Okay, so otherwise, if it's not during Lent and you want meat in this dish, what you could use is you can use chicken, you can use beef, you can use shrimp. So I've tried it all different ways, and I like the chicken if I'm going to do it with meat, but the shrimp is good too. But if you have shrimp allergies, then we can't use that. And but for some protein during Lent, I use the chickpeas. Okay, so I think we are ready to make our honey garlic sauce. So I've already made some here, and I've let it sit out for about an hour. So it's pretty much thickened up like this, the way I like it. So let's get our sauce started. All right, so let's get our sauce going. So I'm going to first turn my my heat up, low to medium right now. I'm going to throw in my butter, which is 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to let that kind of start melting. Okay. So that'll start melting. Then I'm going to put in my minced garlic. We're just going to let that kind of sizzle up for a minute and saute it together. We're just going to let this happen here. And then I like to throw in my coconut oil while I'm doing that. About my teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Okay. So we're going to let that all melt and come together. I can smell the garlic. Another variation you can stick in here are sesame seeds. So if you want to put in sesame seeds, you can. And I've done it. I just didn't do it for today's recipe. So I'm going to let this sizzle. Let this get to a sizzle real quick. Okay, so while this is going to start sizzling, I'm going to turn on my heat here, medium to high, throw in some olive oil in here. I don't know, a couple tablespoons. I don't really count it. Let this heat up really good. Let that sizzle up a little bit more. So we've got the oil in here. And then we're going to start out with our peppers. Throw in our peppers. And you know, when I'm making this, I don't know, I don't personally like my vegetables when I'm making this stir fry. I don't like them to get real soggy. You know, I think for me, I like them kind of soft or hard, however you want to say that. But I don't know, I don't like them fully cooked. I kind of like that crunch. So, I mean, you could do it however you want. So we'll let that sizzle for a minute. Sizzle, frizzle. You see why I called it my vegetable frizzle. Okay. So garlic is still sizzling here. I'm going to go ahead and add in my ginger. And again, some people don't like it, but I don't know. I kind of like that little bit of that ginger. You hear it sizzling. It's starting to smell really good too. Then I'm going to add in my red chili paste. Like I said, it depends on how hot you want it. If you don't like a lot of heat, well then don't put a lot in there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to lower the heat here. I'm going to add in my apple cider vinegar. And then I'm going to add my soy sauce. Let that all combine together for about a minute there. And so while we're doing that, I'm going to add in my broccoli. And then I'm going to add in my peas. You know, you can add any vegetable you want, really. And, you know, I've made this with, some people don't like it. I like the bok choy. And, oh my God, I love it. I'm going to add more olive oil. Now, I don't have a wok here at the center, but if you have one at home, I would use it. So, we'll kind of put the chickpeas in last, okay? So let's go back to the sauce. So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. I'm going to put in the honey. And we're going to let this, bring it to a boil for about 5 to 6 minutes. I like to use every drop of honey. Okay, so we're going to let this kind of boil. Let it come together. We're not going to add in the cornstarch yet because we're going to let this boil for a few minutes. We're going to take a look at our vegetables. If you want, you can even add a shallot. If you wanted to put some, some onion in here, red onion. I mean, really, there's no right or wrong, really. It's kind of to your taste, your liking. Some people like adding water chestnuts to it. I'm not a big water chestnut fan, but a lot of people are. That's okay. I'll turn down my heat just a little bit. Then I think I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of cornstarch. And let that stir that up. Okay, now we're going to let that boil for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then you're going to let it sit for another 5. Okay? You can add some salt and pepper. Simmer, and I'm going to go ahead and add my chickpeas. Doesn't that look wonderful? Okay. Add that in. Okay. I love the colors too, so springy too. So let that sizzle. You can see this is thickening up. Mix this up a little bit. Break up some of that cornstarch in here. Now this sauce, you can make, you could double your recipe and make a lot of it, and you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of days, okay? And what I'm going to do with this is, because I like it saucy kind of when I plate it, I'm going to combine what I made earlier this morning, and I'm going to add it to here. So, our vegetables are getting cooked. Okay. Let's give it one good boil. Okay, now we're going to let this sit for a few minutes. thicken up, and we'll be back to plate it. All right, so here we are. We're gonna plate our food, right? So here's the vegetables. They look really good. I've got the sauce right here, and I've got the rice. So go find your friend, your family member in the house, your neighbor, a stranger, bring them to the table. We're gonna plate this with our rice on the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to, and some people add the honey garlic sauce to the vegetables while they're cooking them. So either way is fine. I just like this way because I think it presents a little bit nicer when you're plating it. So there's your vegetables, okay? And then before I put the sauce on, I'm gonna go ahead and combine the sauce I made earlier, just because I have it, okay? If you don't have it, don't worry about it. But I don't want anything to go to waste. So I'm gonna use this. I'm just gonna mix the two together. And what's really pretty that I didn't have here today is if you want to drizzle sesame seeds on top and then add a little branch of cilantro to it, you can, or parsley to make it look pretty. So we're gonna just drizzle the frizzle right on top. Okay, I like a lot of frizzle, so I'm going to put it there like that. Okay, there you have it. So this is our Lenten meatless Friday vegetable frizzle with honey and garlic sauce. Okay, so with that being said, I hope that you invite a friend, neighbor, family member to come eat with you today. This pairs well with a glass of white wine maybe, or I don't know, a cup of hot tea. One thing on the rice I wanted to mention, you can use all kinds of different variations of rice. Now I've used jasmine rice with this. Jasmine rice is very fragrant, and I love it with this. But because of convenience today, I just used white rice, okay? But I mean, you can use any type of rice you want. And I mean, I love the jasmine rice. I think it's very fragrant and it has a great taste too. So as I leave you today, in the week before we celebrate Ash Wednesday, I want to leave you with this blessing. It's called a Mardi Gras blessing, but we'll go with it, right? Okay. Lord our God, on the eve week of Ash Wednesday, we ask that you bless our celebration of the Feast of Mardi Gras. Bless our table, our food and wine, as well as all of us who sit about this feast at the table. Come, gracious Lord, and join us at this feast as we prepare to join your Son, Jesus, by prayerfully entering into these 40 days of Lent. As the food and wine of this feast give nourishment and strength to our bodies and spirits, so may we, during this coming season of Lent, give strength and support to each other and to all who accompany us on the pilgrimage of prayer. From Ash Wednesday to Easter Sunday, as this Lenten roadway causes us to reflect upon the death of our Lord, and may we also remember his victory in his resurrection from the dead. May this dinner right here on the eve of the Day of Ashes be a joyful foretaste of the rebirth and new life that is the promise of the Feast of the Resurrection. So peace be with you guys. I hope to see you next time, and in the meantime, have a great day eating your vegetable frizzle.